I'm next to the new Kia Tasman Ute, and it enters a hotly coveted segment that, to be honest, us Aussies are awfully protective of. We have strong opinions on what they should look like and what they should be capable of. And we've got juggernauts like the Ford Ranger, Toyota HiLux and Isuzu D-Max, which have managed to carve their initials onto our hearts. So how does this odd-looking beast from Kia compare? And is there room on the proverbial love tree for it to make its mark? Stay watching to see if it does. The Kia Tasman has 5 grades available, and only the base S grade is available with either a 2-wheel or 4-wheel drive drivetrain. The model on test for this review is second from the top, the X-Line, and it is the most affordable option compared to its closely positioned rivals. This grade enjoys synthetic leather upholstery, heated front seats and an electric driver's seat, as well as wireless phone charger pads, 2 of them, dual 12.3-inch displays in this panoramic screen on the dashboard, as well as wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The Tasman X-Line has the goods where it counts, especially for those families who like to go bushwhacking or occasionally tow the bigger toys. And while it does offer good value compared to its closest rivals, my little sticking point is that compared to the base model 4x4 S grade, it is an $18,000 price hike, and really, there's not enough features to justify that for me. But the full specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The Tasman has received the most feedback of any car I've ever sampled from my friends and family. And it definitely has a distinctive swollen curbside look, which not going to land with everyone, but I love how Kia has leaned into that chunkiness, and you can see it in the plastic molding, the 18-inch alloys, and the big body paneling. It all complements the overall size. It is a bit of a bruiser, but I've actually grown rather fond of it. This has some interesting design elements, like this random storage pocket above this wheel arch. My son's been using it for all of his random treasures this week. I like that you get a corner side step for easy access into this tray. The tray itself has a plastic tub liner, which is handy, as well as lights. But it is a bit of a punish to climb into the cabin itself because you don't get any side steps there. If you're on the fence with how it looks on the outside, the cabin might just swing you, because this is a genuinely good-looking cabin space. It's a big and comfortable interior that has lovely trims throughout, lots of soft touch points in all the right places, and enough flashy-looking technology to keep things looking interesting. I like how this middle console can flip open to create sort of like a picnic table, and that you have a quick size reference guide stenciled into this middle console. Really great if you're not quite sure if you're going to fit into an underground car park. Overall, the Tasman's looks are a little bit of a mixed bag, but let us know in the comments what you think. The Tasman offers class-leading space for passengers, and this is a true 5-seater for adults, and that's impressive for a ute. Despite the fact that it kind of feels like I'm bolting into the cabin because of the 224mm ground clearance and high seat position, the head, leg and elbow room up here is awesome. The front seats are comfortable with lots of padding, but it is a little bit annoying at this grade level that only the driver's side is electric. I like that this is a cabin that's easy to keep neat though, because there's lots of storage options like dual glove boxes and heaps of cubbies in this center console. Most of the technology is intuitive to use, and the touchscreen of the multimedia system is responsive. I like that it's got wireless Apple CarPlay and that it has built-in sat-nav with 10 years of map over-the-air updates. My only gripe, I guess, is with the 5-inch climate control panel, because I kind of forget that it's there, to be honest, and the actual physical control toggles can sometimes be hard to see with what's on top of them. The charging options up front are excellent, with 4 USB-C ports, a 12-volt socket and 2 wireless charging pads. Really good if you often travel with your partner. The rear row is massive, just like the front, and 3 adults will be comfortable side by side because of how wide the seat is. The seats themselves, pretty well padded enough for a longer journey. Surprisingly, my son hasn't had any trouble climbing in and out of this car, but you will be helping younger kids. There are only 2 top tether anchor points back here though, which might not suit larger families. You don't get any luxury amenities back here, but the amenities that you do get are okay for the class. You get these soft mat pockets that are zipped, which is really handy. Lots of little device pockets as well, 2 cup holders and storage bins in each doors. You also get directional air vents, 2 USB-C ports and a handy 240 volt domestic plug port. This tailgate has a soft drop, which is really good if you have kids around because it doesn't drop too quickly. And like I mentioned before, this tray has lights as well as a 240 volt domestic plug port. Really good if you're doing handyman work around the house. The tray has a payload capacity of 1,027 kilos, which is great, but if this was mine long term, I would opt for some sort of lockable tray cover. All Tasman variants share the same 2.2 litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, which produces up to 154 kilowatts of power and 440 newton-meters of torque. That positions it, in terms of its outputs, closer to its Isuzu counterpart. This has a 3.5 ton brake to towing capacity, rear diff locks and 3 terrain modes to choose from: sand, snow and mud. This also has a handy tow mode with its own dedicated menu page on the media display. Now it's handy because you can select the weight range of what you're towing, and that will precondition the driving experience of the car and how it shifts through its 8 gears. But if you're after any off-road stuff, check out the upcoming Tasman review from Crafty at carsguide.com.au. The X-Line has an official combined fuel cycle usage of 7.8 litres per 100 kilometres. And with its 80 litre fuel tank, you should see a theoretical driving range of about 1,025 kilometres, which is really good. After bumming around doing my usual grocery and school runs with a couple of longer trips thrown in this week, I've managed a real-world usage of 8.8 litres, which is excellent. I haven't been towing though, and I also haven't been utilising the tray, which is a factor to consider. The X-Line does feel like it has enough power to feel like it can keep up on the open road. I would have liked a little bit more torque, and this comes into play too with how it shifts through its gears, because while it does do that relatively well most of the time, sometimes it will shift out of the lower gears a bit too quickly, so it can feel a bit like a lug when you have to accelerate out from a corner at lower speeds or overtake on the open road. The high ride does 2 things. One, you really feel like you've got a decent amount of visibility all around you when you're driving it. But 2, it does act like a wind sail on the open road. So when you get really heavy winds, you feel like you're really tossed about in this. Overall, the visibility is quite good when you're driving. When you're doing low speed maneuvers or you're just parked, I noticed that I could not see my son other than through the camera, over the bonnet or through the windows. He was just too short. And that's something to consider if you do have kids or animals running about. The ride comfort is pretty decent for a ute, and it does absorb most of the bumps pretty comfortably. It really only gets a bit bouncy when you're on a rough road with lots of potholes, or you go over one of those speed bump islands, and then you really notice how big this car is. It's also really impressive how quiet the cabin is despite the turbo diesel rumbling about. Even at higher speeds, you can chat comfortably without feeling like you're raising your voice. At over 5.4 meters in length and with a 12.3 meter turning circle, there's a lot of car to consider when you have to move the Tasman. The ultra clear 360 degree view camera system, front, side and rear parking sensors do help, but it is one that I have felt more comfortable backing into a space than backing out of a space. The X-Line and the flagship X Pro don't share their siblings' 5-star ANCAP safety rating from testing done in 2025, but it does share the same safety equipment, including 7 airbags, blind spot view monitor, and emergency call functionality. I also really like that you get side exit assist and rear occupant alert in this, which are always good to have when you have kids about. Like most new Kia vehicles, the driver attention warning and the traffic sign recognition alert are annoyingly intrusive, and the lane keeping aid is often jerky, but the last two are easy enough to turn off now via the steering wheel. The adaptive cruise control is also not as well calibrated as what I would like. Basically, it slows down too quickly and it's too slow to get back up to speed. But the full safety specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The Tasman is offered with Kia's 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is a solid term for the class. There's also a 7-year cap price servicing program where services cost an average of $610 per visit. That is a little bit on the expensive side for the class, but you do get roadside assistance included if you service through a Kia dealership. And services are well spaced at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. The new Kia Tasman X-Line's looks won't be for everyone, but it is what's on the inside that counts. And this certainly brings the goods when it comes to passenger comfort, towing capabilities, and on-road manners. It also offers relative good value for the segment. I quite like it, and my son is certainly obsessed with it. And that's why it gets the score that's on your screen now. But if you're after more details, check out my full written review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you on the next one.